Hello friends, today I am going to show you how to create a Visual Basic project using Microsoft Visual Studio 2022. Uh, if you want to know how to download and install Visual Studio 2022, so I have a uh, video on that. So I'll provide the link in the description box so that you can look at it. Once you install Visual Studio 2022, you will get so that will also install this Visual Studio installer as part of that. So you open your Visual Studio installer. This will be used to install any Visual Studio related apps on your machine. So come here and then you can see like I have installed Community Edition 2022. It is a free edition, so you can use this. Okay. Uh, so here you see this modify, right? So go to this modify, and what will happen is then you will be able to add other components. Now as part of this tutorial I'm going to show you a Windows form development. Basically I want to create a Windows form, which is basically a desktop form, and I want to show you how you can use this. So you can see here there are a number of called as workloads, a number of things here, or you can also go here and install individual components. We are interested here. Here come back to this .NET desktop development. Here as part of this there is Windows form. Okay, so Windows form can be developed using Visual Basic, using C Sharp, using F Sharp, right? All these languages can be used to develop Windows form. Now let's install this. So it will take 448 MB space, and then we just click on this modify, and it will start installing this. Okay, so now the components has been installed. Okay, all the Windows Form related components. So let's open Visual Studio 2022. Here, click on this, and in the templates, Windows Form template should be available. Okay, so if you cannot see the Windows Forms template, then restart your machine. Okay, or else try to go again to this modify, and try to reinstall it. Okay, try to reinstall that Windows Form component. If you go here to the modify, you should be able to see that checkbox checked, but you can uncheck it and again check it back, and then try to reinstall. Now this is my Visual Studio 2022. Let's go back to this. Yeah, here this is the installer. Basically I can back here again just to show you that this is not checked, right, by default, because it's installed. So what you can do is you can uncheck it, and then it will uninstall everything, and then again you can recheck it. You can also try this removing out of support components. Okay, sometimes it may interfere with the new components, so you can remove this and then uncheck this, and then again check it back and reinstall everything. Okay, uh, or you can also then try to restart if you are still not able to see the template coming up in your here in Visual Studio 2022. Okay, so this is your editor which you can use to write Visual Studio programs, as well as you can compile them. Okay, uh, so let's go to create a new project. All right, here, so you can see new components are coming up. All right, so Windows Forms app is actually on top because I have filtered it on Visual Basic, so it is coming up. By default it will be, or it will be all languages. This is how it will be, but if you filter it on Visual Basic, so all the templates which supports Visual Basic will be filtered out here. Now we are interested here, okay, on Windows Forms app. Similarly, there are other filters here, so you can check this other filters which are coming up. Now here it is desktop, so what you can also do is select desktop, all platforms, you can select Windows. Okay, now this is the combination you can have: Visual Basic, Windows, desktop. Okay, and this Windows Forms app should appear on top. Now Now what you can do is select this and next. So here let's name this something. Hello, hello YouTube. Next. So I can use .NET 7 or I can use .NET 6 depending on what you have. .NET 6 is quite popular. Okay, so I'll select this .NET 6.0 and then click on create. Okay, now the form is loaded. The project is the project has also loaded. So everything is there. You can see on the right hand side in the Solution Explorer. This files with .vb extension means it is a Visual Basic project, and the files will be created with this extension. Okay, all the files. Now this is the user interface of the form. It will have a designer .vb file where there will be some code by default, and then you want to write any custom code, then you should write it in the there is one more code behind file, you should write it there. Okay, now designer, just double click there. So this you can see all this code written by this editor by default. Okay, so ideally you should not make any changes here, otherwise it will be overwritten. So and then you have this form, it has some properties. You can actually go right click here and then properties. You can see all the properties of this form. Okay, similarly if you add a control here, you can also see the controls properties here. You can use this to update any of the any of the properties. Okay, you can use this property window to update that. Similarly, there is a place where you can write your code, which means you can handle all the events, whatever is there in the form, or if you put any control, you want to write some behavior of that control, or what should happen when someone clicks that. All these things you can write in the code. So just double click the form, and then you can see this code window coming up, which is form 1.vb. You can also go directly to this here by clicking on these icons, and then you can see this form 1 here coming up, right? So if you double click this, also this window will open up. So that is how then you can see some events here coming up. Now here there are 3 drop downs. Okay, so this is your project, and this is your actually the form 1 object. So it has some events. So if you select this, you will see the events here all coming up, right? So you can then for example, if you want, when someone clicks the form, if you want to handle that or write some code, some behavior, what should happen when someone clicks, then you can do that. Okay, you can just select that event will come up. You can write the code here. So what we can do here is we can do a small demo perhaps, and go to toolbox. It will have a lot of controls in the toolbox. It was initializing. Now it is initialized. Now you can see all Windows Forms controller. So let's drag a button and then drag let's say some text box. Okay, and then a level controller. Okay, so here here I just double click the level, so it came here. But usually you want to update the name, right? So you just go here, properties, and here in the text you can say let's say, who are you? Let's say, ask a question. Okay, so that's the level controller. So it is now saying, who are you? You can align it a bit better. So button, okay, properties, and then come back here and say submit. Okay. And then text box again, properties, and then here text box. We are not worried about the text right now, but the name we can, let's say, txt name. Okay, okay, now let's do one thing. Let's create a so when you let's add some behavior. So when you submit, it will show hi and whatever is entered here. Okay, so double click this, and here message message box dot show I txt name dot text. Okay, so that's the thing. Now what we can do is we can just run it and see what happens. Yeah. Right, so this is the form. What I should do now is enter a name, for example my name, Praveen. Okay, you can submit, you can see hi Praveen. So click on OK, the box will close. So enter anything, and then okay, so like this you can do the coding using Visual Studio 2022. So hope this video has been helpful to you. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, so I'll come up with more such interesting videos for you. Thank you.